Well, I got my notes, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. Pepsi, check. Thick skin, check. Let's go. Hey, welcome to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. If you're a college football fan, might as well hit the like and subscribe button because that's all we do over here. Go check out our Patreon page. We call our Patreons the shot callers because that's exactly what they do around here. And when the regular season gets here, our Patreons will get to decide which game we'll live stream, and you'll get to watch with Golden Blue Dude. And the score prediction contest will be coming back. Every week I pick out a game and my Patreons guess the score, and whoever comes closest to the score wins $20 every single week, and you can win as many times as you want. The higher the Patreon, the more guesses you get per week. Right when you think you maybe know what's going to happen in conference realignment, and maybe it's dying down just a little bit, and maybe things are starting to be more clear in conference realignment. Nope. More big time news coming out of conference realignment. And this is going to be focused on the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC. Yeah. Well, first of all, the Big 12, we already know that they have been interested in expansion, but it was official last night. They put it to a vote, and they have actually come up with a committee to explore expansion. Now, we all really knew that already, but it's official now. They actually voted on it. And the teams that were on the docket were Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. But it's come out that Utah's not interested in joining the Big 12. They don't want to be a part of that. They don't want to join Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State to the Big 12. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to stay on a sinking ship? You have a landing spot in the Big 12. Why would you not join your fellow Pac-12 members and land on a very sturdy platform? Well, that's where the ACC comes in? What? Yeah. I'm telling you guys, this is nuts. So that loose alliance that the ACC and the Pac-12 have made, the ACC wants it to be even more loose. In fact, maybe not at all. They just want Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and Utah. Wait, the ACC is looking to expand right now over to the West Coast? I did not see that happening. I did not see that coming. That wasn't even on my radar. This is nuts. So Utah doesn't want to join Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State to the Big 12. They're actually interested in the ACC joining Oregon, Washington, and Stanford to the ACC. And if the ACC can get Stanford, maybe they have a shot at Notre Dame. What have I been talking about? One of the main reasons, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons the Big Ten went out and got USC and UCLA was USC could help them entice Notre Dame. Well, for now, Notre Dame is standing pat. They have not accepted any type of invitation to the Big Ten. They are not joining any conference in this offseason. They are standing their ground for now. But the ACC, they want to make moves. They want to see if they can, entice Notre Dame. What have I been saying for the past year? West Virginia and Notre Dame to the ACC. And a lot of things have happened that made it seem like, Golden Blue Dude, that was just flat wrong. It's not going to happen. And it might be wrong. Maybe that doesn't happen. I don't know. I'm just passing along what I hear. That's one thing that people don't understand about my videos. Whenever I say I have sources and this is what I'm hearing and this is my opinion, that doesn't mean that I'm actually predicting like this is going to happen 100% no matter what. I have done that a few times, but I learned my lesson on that because I got hit in the rear end whenever I did that. So I backed off from that and just give you what I'm hearing and what my opinion on this is. And so the ACC is looking to expand out west. That is insane. And what did I say the other day? I said there's two reasons why the ACC and the Pac-12 have this loose alliance. Because number one, the Big Ten has already stabbed a fellow alliance member in the back by grabbing USC and UCLA. Remember, it used to be Big Ten, Pac-12, ACC. Well, the Big Ten went out and got USC, UCLA, so they stabbed an alliance member in the back. So it's like, don't trust the ACC if I were you, Pac-12. And that's exactly what it's looking like. It's looking like the ACC now wants to take advantage of the Pac-12 and get their biggest brands remaining: Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Utah. Stanford would be a bigger get than people realize. They have really good academic standards. Their football program is pretty good. And the enticement of Notre Dame. I think the ACC would even invite Navy if it meant Notre Dame joining the ACC. This goes back to one of the biggest mistakes that the Pac-12 made. Not going after BYU and Houston. That right there has led to what we're seeing right now in the Pac-12. I suggested time and time and time again that the Pac-12 should invite at least BYU, maybe even Houston. BYU made sense in the Pac-12. The Holy War, that rivalry between BYU and Utah, would be a big-time moneymaker for the Pac-12. But no, the Pac-12 looked down on BYU. You're a religious school. No way, we're not letting you in. Well, this is what happens when you make a bad decision. That bad decision is directly leading to what we're seeing right now. Now, the bad thing for West Virginia, and you knew I had to talk about West Virginia, is if the Big 12 does accept Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado, looks like Utah's off the board. That actually hurts West Virginia. People don't realize this. West Virginia and the Big 12 have conflicting interests right now. It is in the best interest for the Big 12 to grab more schools out of the Pac-12. They need to do that. But it's not in the best interest for West Virginia. An already horrible traveling schedule for away games for West Virginia will get even worse. So they have conflicting interests right now. And I've always said, I want what's best for West Virginia. If what's best for West Virginia is to stay in the Big 12, then by all means, stay in the Big 12. So if the Big 12 does go out and get these Pac-12 schools, they need to balance it out and help Cincinnati, West Virginia, and UCF by getting teams from the ACC. Well, with the ACC going out and getting those Pac-12 teams, that's going to be even more difficult. And how does this affect the grant of rights? Even in the tweet it said that the ACC would need help from ESPN with the grant of rights if they want to add more teams. So that's the biggest question right now, the grant of rights. Even with the SEC trying to get Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, and Virginia, grant of rights stands in the way. So the grant of rights is a good thing for the ACC, but it's also a bad thing for the ACC. It makes it very, very difficult for teams to leave the ACC, but it also makes it very, very difficult for teams to enter the ACC. So maybe the ACC is actually hoping that these SEC lawyers can find a way to break the grant of rights. That way they can actually add more teams, even though they lose some big, big brands. Maybe Notre Dame and NBC can come in and get a big TV deal for the ACC, and they get Oregon, Washington, Utah, and Stanford, and voila, now you have another conference that goes coast to coast with the ACC. This is one curveball that I did not see coming. Now, what about the remaining schools in the Pac-12? We're talking about Washington State, Cal, and Oregon State. Well, from what I'm hearing is they're actually talking to the Mountain West. So they're trying to find a landing spot, even if it's not a Power 5 conference. And as far as the remaining group of 5 conferences, the Mountain West would be a good fit for these 3 teams. Now, it would be a step down, but really, how much would that hurt them? I mean, they haven't been all that competitive in the Pac-12 anyways. I mean, Washington State has had some good years under Mike Leach, but that's about it. And then Cal, very, very up and down. Oregon State has been downright atrocious. So maybe they could actually be even more competitive in the Mountain West, and this actually helps those 3 teams. And maybe they actually have a chance of winning a conference championship. I don't think this is a bad move at all by Oregon State, Washington State, and Cal. In fact, I think that's what they need to do. I don't think there's any landing spot in the Big 12 for these teams. I don't think there's a landing spot in the Big 10. I don't think there's a landing spot in the ACC, nor do I think there's a landing spot in the SEC. So the best option for Oregon State, Washington State, and Cal is to join the Mountain West. Now, does that mean that they just straight up join the Mountain West, or that the Mountain West and the Pac-12 merge? I don't know, because whatever's left of the Pac-12 ain't going to be much. So merger might be off the table anyways. So I would expect them just to join the Mountain West. So from what I understand for the Big Ten is that with Notre Dame saying, no, we are not joining at least for this year, the Big Ten has closed its borders. They are not inviting any more teams. They are done with expansion for 2022. Now, for the future, they probably will expand some more. Where they pick off the Big 12 or the ACC, I don't know. But for now, the borders of the Big Ten are closed. They're adding USC and UCLA for 2023-2024, and that's it. Now, there's a couple years between now and whenever USC and UCLA officially join. So they could reach out and grab some more teams before then. But for 2022, the borders are closed. So as of right now, here's what we're looking at. Big Ten, SEC, strong, expanding, they're good. Even if they've closed their borders and they stop at 16 for 2022, they're good. The Pac-12, you're done. It's over. Whether you get absorbed into the Big 12 or some of your teams go to the ACC and the rest go to the Mountain West, or you get picked apart in some other form and fashion, I don't know, but you're done. So we will be down to 4 conferences after 2022. I'm very confident in that. So it will be the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. And what we're going to see is the Big 12 versus the ACC fight for survival, and it will be whittled down to 3 major conferences. Will it be the SEC, Big 10, and Big 12, or will it be the SEC, Big 10, and ACC? Well, it looks like the ACC is making a strong push to get some teams from out west. And if you look at brand for brand, the ACC would actually be getting better brands from the Pac-12 than what the Big 12 would be getting. The Big 12 would be getting Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, maybe Cal, I don't know, to make it an even 4. And then the ACC would be getting Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Stanford. So if you look at brand for brand, the ACC would actually be getting better teams than the Big 12. So the first battle might go to the ACC as far as winning against the Big 12. But where it goes from there, I have no idea. This is crazy. This is unpredictable, guys. I give you so many scenarios, and then boom, another scenario pops up that I didn't even see coming. Y'all let me know in the comments section how you think this is going to pan out. Do you think that the ACC is going to expand all the way out to the West Coast because that's what it looks like they're trying to do? Or do you think the Big 12 will actually be able to lock down Utah, even though Utah is very hesitant right now? In fact, they've given them a flat-out no. That tells me that the ACC is actually interested in Utah, and Utah is interested in the ACC. Who survives, the Big 12 or the ACC? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.